While on his state visit to China, Kenyan President William Ruto sat down for an exclusive interview with Leaders Talk. Since becoming president, he has visited China 3 years in a row. He said,
It is a relationship of mutual benefit with a win-win outcome between China and Kenya.
As the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation marks its 25th anniversary with a series of major achievements, he noted,
It has provided the best possible opportunity for engagement between Africa and China.
In response to the tariff wars sparked by the United States, he pointed out,
Unilateralism cannot survive the current global situation. It is only multilateralism that will guarantee global trade.
Exclusive interview with Kenyan President William Ruto. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to Leaders Talk, where we meet leaders, thinkers, and trailblazers. I'm Wang Guan in Beijing. Today our guest is the Kenyan President William Ruto. He's the first African leader to make a state visit to China since the 2024 Forum on China-Africa Cooperation Summit. How does President Ruto's visit enhance China-Africa and China-Kenya ties? And what new opportunities might open up in China-Kenya collaboration? What insights does President Ruto bring to the current tensions and turmoil in international politics? Join us as we explore all these questions and more. Your Excellency, President William Ruto, great to see you again and welcome back to Beijing. In fact, you're the first African leader to make a state visit to China since FOCOG 2024, and this is your back-to-back visit in the past 3 years. What do you think this level of engagement says about our bilateral relations? What do you hope to achieve through this state visit?
Well, thank you very much first for having me again in Beijing this time round as I undertake a state visit to this great country. The solid relationship between Kenya and China dates back 60 years, maybe more. In fact, 600 years is when this people-to-people engagement began with the Silk Trade. But today I have come to China as part of the growing and deepening relationship between our two countries and expanded opportunities for engagement. Today we have 400 companies, Chinese companies operating in Kenya in different fields, in construction, investment, tourism, and many other fields. And therefore, I have come here to explore additional possibilities of engagement, especially on matters to do with trade and investment, on matters to do with a people-to-people relationship.
Your Excellency, we took note of a major international survey that says over 70% of Kenyans have favorable views of China and of Chinese, and over 80% of Kenyans think positively about the impact of Chinese business and investment in Kenya and to Kenya. What do you think is behind such overwhelmingly positive views and perceptions?
I think three things largely. The already existing relationship between Kenya and China, the support of China in the building of public infrastructure, the standard gauge railway, for example, 600 kilometers of standard gauge railway has been delivered. Thousands of kilometers of roads have been delivered. We now have the expressway has been delivered. The port of Lamu has been built with the support of Chinese investors and Chinese support. Number two is the work ethic that is shared between China and Kenya. And importantly and instructively is the people-to-people relationship. The warm relationship between our two nations is what is inspiring the positive relationship between China and Kenya.
Since establishing diplomatic ties in December 1963, China and Kenya have consistently respected and supported each other. In recent years, under the strategic guidance of the two heads of state, China-Kenya relations have continued to improve, with fruitful cooperation outcomes across various fields significantly enhancing the well-being of the two peoples. At the invitation of President Xi Jinping, Kenyan President William Ruto paid a state visit to China from April 22 to the 26th, 2025. The two leaders agreed to elevate bilateral ties to a China-Kenya community with a shared future for the new era, and witnessed the signing of 20 cooperation documents in areas such as the Belt and Road Initiative, new and high technology, people-to-people and cultural exchanges, economy and trade, and media. China and Kenya will continue to expand all-round mutually beneficial cooperation and strive for respective modernization together.
President, during your meeting with President Xi Jinping during FACOC 2024, President Xi Jinping of China defined China-Kenya relations by three partnerships. Sincere partners of mutual trust, number one, and number two, cooperative partners of mutual benefit and win-win results. And thirdly, strategic partners upholding fairness and justice. How does President Xi's three partnership designation resonate with you?
I think the fact that it is sincere, it is strategic, and is comprehensive speaks to the wholesomeness of the relationship between our two countries over the last 60 years. Sincere in the fact that we candidly engage without reservations. Strategic because Kenya is the gateway to the East and Africa, the East and Central Africa region. And therefore, Kenya is strategically positioned as an ally and as a country that can provide a pathway to East and Central Africa for Chinese investment, Chinese technology, Chinese business, and entrepreneurs. And comprehensive because it covers the entire spectrum of what we do, from construction to hospitality, to investments in real estate, in ports and other pieces of infrastructure. And therefore, as defined by President Xi Jinping, it is a relationship of mutual benefit with a win-win outcome between China and Kenya.
When you think about the deliverables of China-Kenya partnership engagement, there has been this standard gauge railway, Nairobi Expressway, and also the World Trade Center that is redefining Nairobi's skyline that we very presently saw and learned over our stay in Nairobi 2 years ago. What would be the next phase of BRI's alignment with your own initiatives?
The next frontier is going to be in the space of delivery of the Mau Summit, Nairobi Mau Summit Expressway, or dual carriageway that is going to enhance connectivity, not just to central and western Kenya, but also to the region, the East African region. The delivery around the digital superhighway that already is a program that is underway that will enhance digital footprint around Kenya. We are currently working on 1,450 digital hubs around Kenya that will bring into being opportunities for Kenyan young people to work around digital jobs. So these are the next frontier of opportunities for us.
And we also know that Kenya is a continental leader in transitioning into a green economy. You set out this very ambitious targets of having 100% of your electricity generated from renewable sources by 2030, and then by 2040, a fully green industrial economy. In that regard, what are your expectations when it comes to partnerships with the Chinese companies and policymakers?
We are looking at opportunities for partnership, especially in additional generation of energy, green energy from solar, with especially solar technology that is coming from, and solar panel technology that's coming from China. Also making sure that we have generation of our geothermal and other spaces around energy generation. Already there is a lot of engagement with Chinese companies in unlocking our geothermal energy resources in different parts of Kenya. And we are very happy with the technology that the Chinese companies are providing. So that is the future, as I see it, exploring opportunities for leveraging on green technology and green resources and green energy to take the country into the future.
Talking about bilateral and multilateral mechanisms, Mr. President, FOCAC has been one that's standing out. FOCAC has been around for 25 years, an anniversary we're marking this year. Are your thoughts on the merit and relevance of this very mechanism, Mr. President?
I think it has provided the best possible opportunity for engagement between Africa and China, and has underwritten a lot of investment opportunities, development of infrastructure, the BRI initiatives around ports and railways and roads and infrastructure has been phenomenal in achievement. And FOCAC has provided an opportunity for us to exchange views, to provide feedback, and to explore new opportunities that are mutually beneficial between Africa and China.
The Forum on China-Africa Cooperation has played an important role in promoting Africa's development and improving the well-being of African people. It has become a symbol of China-Africa solidarity and cooperation, a banner of South-South cooperation, and a model for guiding international cooperation with Africa. In his meeting with Kenyan President William Ruto, President Xi Jinping noted that no matter how the international landscape may evolve, China's principle of sincerity, real results, amity, and good faith toward Africa will not change. The original aspiration of China and Africa supporting each other in trying times will not change. The fundamental purpose of China-Africa win-win cooperation and common development will not change.
At FOCAC 2024, President Xi Jinping of China said this when you were also in the audience. He said, "A friend is someone that you walk alongside with. No one, no country should be left behind on the path to modernization." And upon saying this, there has been this major round of applause, including yourself. Why do you think the leaders from Africa, including yourself, resonated so much when President Xi said that?
I think it's the most natural things friends are there for. We believe in our continent that there's a saying that if you want to walk fast, you walk alone. If you want to walk far, you walk with others. I think that is what President Xi Jinping was paraphrasing, that walking fast, you leave others behind. Walking together, you go far and you leave no one behind. And I think that is the spirit of the relationship between Africa and China, that as we progress, as we develop, as we trade, we must have a win-win formula that carries everybody along and leaves nobody behind.
President Ruto, what do you think of President Xi, his vision and leadership, now that you've met with him on several occasions?
I think he's a great leader, and he has tremendous leadership skills, and has worked hard to get China to where it is. We're very proud of the achievements of President Xi in the development of this country. The progress that have been made in this country over the last 20, 30 years is immense, and an encouragement to those of us who are in different phases of development, that with consistency and hard work, it's possible to move people out of poverty. It's possible to create a bigger middle class, and it is possible to move the country into the future.
On many occasions, you talk about the intricate balance and interrelatedness of peace and development. President Xi Jinping also proposed the Global Development Initiative and Global Security Initiative and Global Civilizations Initiative, which are gaining traction around the world, especially in the Global South. What do you think are the practical relevance of President Xi's three global initiatives? And why do you think it's offering a potential viable and optimal way forward in today's world that is marked by increasing conflicts and tensions?
It builds collaboration between different actors in different countries dealing with an array of different situations, whether it is to do with peace and security in the Horn of Africa, in the Sahel region, in the whole of the Central Africa, in DRC. That collaboration that comes with the proposals that have been given by President Xi Jinping is an important aspect of managing the situation around our region.
President Donald Trump announced tariffs, sweeping tariffs against all nations, including Kenya and African nations. Of course, economists would point out this policy of tariff runs conflict with AGOA, which was a federal U.S. law signed in the late 1990s, early 2000s, recognizing Africa as a tariff-free area. So that makes people naturally wonder, which law rules over which? Is there confusion of any?
The whole tariff regime has taken all of us by surprise. We are currently engaging the U.S. government to find ways and means of mitigating the effects of tariffs that have been levied by the U.S. We should be working more with multilateralism than unilateralism. We believe that multilateralism has greater safeguards and provides an even environment for trade for nations across the world. Because as things stand today, globalization of trade is not an option. It is an existential imperative. I do not think any one company anywhere in the world can survive on its own. We need to look at it from that global sense. And that way, it is only multilateralism that will guarantee global trade. And global trade is the fuel for progress and development and commerce and growth.
You're talking about multilateralism. You've said this, and I thought that was very thought-provoking. You said multilateralism is on trial. That was a few years ago, and some countries, some corners of the world are pursuing narrow insular interests, and that is cannibalizing humanity's collective journey. I thought it was brilliant, especially the word cannibalize. Why did you use that word?
I think it is the reality that exists. That I have said that unilateralism cannot survive the current global situation. No one part of the world can act in isolation to the rest of the world. And whatever happens in one part of the world affects the rest of the world. It is therefore necessary that we act in concert and we act together. And despite the fact that the multilateralism is being tested, I believe that it is the solid foundation upon which nations can engage. And I do not think any one country acting unilaterally on its own will present a situation that will be accepted globally, or that is good for everybody globally. What is good for the United States must be good for Kenya. Otherwise, we will not have a win-win outcome. And a win-lose outcome will always result in everybody eventually losing.
On people-to-people exchanges and media cooperation, our organization, China Media Group, CMG, have done our bits. And they all culminated in 2024, last year, in our 3-day live streaming of the Great Migration, which really stunned the Chinese viewers and billions of them, and also the worldwide viewers who were really taken away by the sheer beauty of Kenya and of Eastern Africa. Mr. President, how do you rate efforts such as these undertaken by China Media Group?
Phenomenal. I think the mere broadcast of the reality of the wildebeest migration and our tourism assets in our region is a phenomenal achievement and a big contribution by China to letting the world know the tourism product that exists in Kenya and in our region. And as a result, there are demonstrable results of more people visiting our country. We had 91,000 Chinese tourists coming to Kenya because more and more people are getting to understand the product that we have, the quality of the product that exists, and the real tourism aspects that are attractive to people, travelers around the world. And we want to say we are truly grateful as a country for the exposure that your organization and the Chinese media have given to our tourism and to our region.
Mr. President, Africa boasts the world's youngest population, the youngest continent anywhere in the world, and also one of the fastest growing workforce. China, of course, has been stepping up and stepping in by launching the Luban workshops,
Yes.
17 of them across Africa,
Correct.
and some Pan-Africa vocational skill competition, challenge competitions, so on and so forth. How would you rate these efforts?
We have had 4,000 scholarships of Kenyans coming to study in China. We have collaborations between different actors to build the human capital of our continent using various interventions that would help build a body of technocrats and expertise around Africa that would support our own industrialization and would support the progress that we envisage of our continent going into the future. And therefore, the collaboration between China and Africa, especially on the people-to-people issues, including the talent development, is an excellent, in my very honest assessment, is an excellent intervention that will give us results not in the not so distant future.
Talking about Luban shop, Mr. President, may I show you something? Luban, as you may know, is this famous Chinese carpenter, dating back since the ancient days.
Yes.
And of course, Luban shop is named after him. And this is a Luban lock, also named after him.
Yes.
What's unique about this lock is it's only keeping up as an integral whole by having all the pieces together. Meaning, if you take out any single piece, the whole structure will fall apart.
Yes.
Of course, this is a metaphor talking about unity and interdependence of our
Correct.
world today.
Correct.
Each member is indispensable to
Correct.
forge a cohesive whole, and this will be our gift for you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, very good. Very good.
Of course, how do you like this metaphor?
Well, wonderful. I mean, it just speaks to the unity of purpose and the people working together for a win-win outcome.
Very good. I hope you'll take it back to Kenya and
I will,
enjoy
certainly,
it.
certainly.
And also, we have a video message for you from some Kenyan expat community studying in China. They've heard about their president visiting, and they can't
Okay.
wait to spare a few words. And here it goes.
Karibu sana hapa China. Tumefurahia sana kupokea hapa China.
Bwana Rais, karibu Beijing. Hapa kwa nyumbani pia sisi hapa.
I'm Jamlik Mwangi Kariuki. Currently, I'm a master's student at the Beijing Jiaotong University. I'm pursuing a master's in civil engineering. with specialty in subgrade engineering.
My name is Aburiri Washington. I am a Kenyan international student studying here in Beijing. Currently, I'm doing my master's in logistics engineering and management.
We, as the young people who have the opportunity to study here in China, are doing our very best to gather as much knowledge, skills, and expertise that we'll be able to bring back to Kenya and help the country grow.
My message will be to continue encouraging multinational partnerships between Kenya and China so that we get to benefit in terms of innovation, in terms of education, in terms of skill transfer, in terms of knowledge in general.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful.
Well, what do you think? Any response to?
I think that is great. Our young people is the greatest asset that we have as a nation. And we will do everything to make sure that we sharpen it. And I'm grateful for the opportunities, both Washington and Jamlek, those two young gentlemen from Kenya, the opportunity they have to acquire knowledge, to improve their skills, and use them to develop our country.
Your Excellency, President William Ruto, thank you so much for this opportunity
Thank
again.
you.
President William Ruto highlighted the remarkable achievements of China-Kenya relations over the past 60-plus years, exemplifying what genuine partnership and mutual respect can accomplish. On the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, he emphasized it as a crucial platform where Africa and China can work together towards common prosperity, offering not just new opportunities for cooperation, but also powerful momentum for Africa's own development. Thank you for watching this episode of The Leaders Talk. I'm Wang Guan in Beijing. I'll see you again next time.